Alright, ladies and gents, got a lot of requests to do this video, so we're going to do a double drop shot video. This is how I learned how to tie them, fish them, the whole deal. Everything I know, everything I've learned in the past few weeks, I'm going to do my best to explain to you, so let's see how we do.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, first thing we did, I cut off a good amount of line here, just a few feet. I always work with that amount of line when I'm tying these. I'm using some orange braid so it's easier to see, and for hooks I'm using these 1/0 hooks, so it's a little bit easier to see when you're using when I'm doing these drop shots. Normally I use a 8 or a 10 mosquito hook, which the 10s, you know, are a little bit smaller than the 8s. I'm really leaning a lot lately more towards the 8s. The hooks exposed a little bit more in the baits. If I'm doing fishing artificial worms, like your mice tail type worms or trout worms, I might go for a 10. But when I'm with the minnows, for a reason, I'm having a lot more success with the 8s. So doesn't really matter too much what you pick. They both are effective, so it's more personal preference. And a lot of this technique, it's a finesse technique, and it comes down to what you're comfortable with and what basically gets the fish to bite for you. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But I got my line here, a couple of hooks over here. These are different types of drop shop weights. This is I believe an 1/8. You got a 1/4, which is what I normally use, and this one is a 1/4 as well, but this is a banana style non-tangle hook, or weight, I'm sorry. And the theory behind this is it can go through more debris and whatnot without getting hung up like this one might. So we'll see. I haven't tried this one out too much, but who knows? Give it a shot. All right, so first thing we need to do is grab our line. I usually start with the top. And we take our hook. Actually start with the bottom rather. And run the line through the back. So the J is the front. That's the front. This is the back of the hook. Like so. And you run it all the way up. At least the way I like to do it, to where I want to position that first hook. Then take the bottom part of the line here and insert it into the front of the hook through the hole here. I like to hold my place while I pull the excess through. Okay. So now what you have is you have a loop right here going right through the eye of that hook. Okay, and then all you're going to do with this loop is tie an overhand knot. Like that. Kind of good to go through the hole there. So now we got a simple overhand knot with this loop sticking off. You take that loop and run the hook right through it and then pull it tight. And that is what's called an Albright knot. Pull it all the way tight here. And then that hook, as you can see, stands pretty straight on that line. Now, the final step in the knot is you take the bottom end of the line and run it right through the front, or the top, of the hook. Just one time. And what that's going to do is that's going to ensure that it stands up as straight as possible. So see, there, mostly straight. It's not necessarily going to be a right angle. Also, this is braid, so it's a little bit looser, but see there, it's a little bit better. You're going to have to manipulate the knots a little bit to get them to stand straight up, but you want it as straight as possible because that gives your baits the best action. Okay, so we got one hook on. Now we go to the second hook. Start at the bottom. Same exact process. Run the line through the back of the hook, if I can get it there. And then I like to get up close. You want about 10 to 16 inches between both the hooks. So I never measure it, I just eyeball it. So to where I feel about comfortable. Then you take your bottom end, run it through the front of the hook like last time, so you're making that big loop. Run it through, try and hold my spot. Okay, so now we got that loop again. I'm going to tie another overhand knot. Like so. So now we got the loop, and that's untied the overhand knot, and we're going to slide the loop over the hook and cinch the knot down. Okay, all right, now we got two hooks standing up on there. See, that one's standing up pretty good. Now, once again, take the bottom piece and go through the top of that last hook, and that's going to ensure that the hook's going to stay upright. Just like that. Keep from hooking myself. And that's what you got right there. Not bad. Okay, now, this is where I differ from some of the other guys. I learned this technique from Mike, who you see a lot on the channel and I fish with. So what we like to do is we like to tie on a basic snap swivel to our main line. And then what we'll do is we'll tie a leader loop in the top of all our drop shot rigs. So if one gets hung up, twisted up, frayed, whatever, we can just snap that one off. We have some that are pre-tied, and we snap another one on, and we're back fishing again. Because sometimes tying these knots and all that can be a little technical, especially if you're out at the lake and it's windy, raining, too sunny, too cold, not bright enough, whatever. You guys all know it could be a pain in the butt to try and tie stuff like this when you're on the side of the lake. Or if you're up at Big Bear and it's too cold. I don't know about you guys, my fingers usually don't work very well in the cold. So I like to have this stuff already pre-tied so I could just work a snap swivel and be done with it. So the top end, we tie what's called a leader loop. So you take your line, fold it over just like this. So you make a big loop right there. That's going to be your main leader loop. Then you come around behind the first loop and make a second loop that's a little bit smaller. And hold on to that. So you got two loops now. One big, one smaller. Then you come around again, but you go in between the big loop and the medium-sized loop and make a small loop. So you go in between both of them, make a small loop. Okay, so now you have three loops. If I can hold on to that one. Okay, so then you grab the medium-sized loop and pull it through the big loop. It pulls tight, and if your tag end comes off at a 90-degree angle like that, you did it right. And you got a good strong leader loop. So then, take our clippers and clip off the tag end here. Got a leader loop. Now, work our way down to the weight. Now these weights, these drop shot weights, have little clips on them. So basically what you can do is you can constantly adjust your depth. Now I don't do that. I usually just tie it on about 4 to 6 inches down from my first hook. That's just what I do. If you're in a lake that's got unfamiliar depths, new place, or you're really trying to find out what depth the trout are at, you may want to be switching your depth of your weight. So what you can do is just tie an overhand knot and double it up. And there's one. See if I can get the other one close to it. There's two. And what you do is take the line, just through it through this opening here, down to about where your knot is. Pull that through the hole, and then you pinch it, you pull it through, and see that weight won't come off. And now you can have a little bit of tag in. So if you want to adjust the depth, like make it a little bit higher in the water column, tie some knots here, unpinch it, and pinch it down on the new knots, and that weight won't come off. Or if it gets snagged, you could break free, and all you're going to lose is the weight, and you keep your baits and your hooks. And sometimes there's enough line to just tie on another weight. So there you have it. Basic double drop shot rig. All right, now I'm going to show you how I hook up my minnows or my worms on these rigs. So let me grab one of my plastic bags, my pre-tied drop shot rigs here. So I just put one in each Ziploc to keep them from getting tangled up. So if you put two in there, my God, would that be a mess. Sometimes it's hard enough with one. But here you can see there's a drop shot rig. I got number 8 hooks on there, and this is on 6-pound RUNCL fluorocarbon, which RUNCL is a very thin line, so it's probably about the diameter of 4-pound, but has a strength of 6. So there's my rig. Let me get out some minnows here. Let's try the white ones here. So what you do is you want the top of the hook sticking out of the top of the head. So I always look at the minnow. That looks like the top of the head to me. So I want the top of the hook sticking out of there. So I put it right down the front here. And you don't have to go very far up the hook, because I want a lot of hook coming up. So just about to where it starts to bend. Then I'll push that hook through and try to get straight as possible right down the ledge spine of this fake minnow. Just about like that. Okay, let me get another one. So it looks like that's the top of the fish there. Start in the center. Then right to where it gets to the bend, then I try to angle it up. Well, I didn't quite get it there. Right in the middle as much as I can. Just about like that. And then that's about what it looks like. Right about like that. Okay, now when you're fishing this, the idea is the weight sits on the bottom, or at least pulls this line straight. You don't always have to fish it on the bottom. And as you give it little taps, it just makes these minnows dance, and you slowly reel it in, keeping both these baits in their specific strike zones. And it just goes real slow. You just give it little taps or little jerks, and it gives the these rubber minnows some life. And that's essentially the technique. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you some actual video of myself and others and how we fish these, and the best ways that we have found, or I have found, that get us on the fish. Okay, in this clip, you can notice I already got the bait out there, and I'm bringing it back. I'm doing looks like 3 to 4 pumps and then pausing. And if you notice the reel, I'm reeling in very, very slowly. And then as you can see right on that last pause, then boom, I get hit and the fish is on. So that shows you
one, I have more luck when going slower, and two, usually when I pause or stop for a second, sometimes I'll stop for a couple seconds, just let it sit there. That's when they'll hit. I just imagine it's because they want the easiest meal, so they want to get it when it's not moving. They saw it move before, so they think it's alive, and as soon as it stops, it's on. So let's go to the next one. All right, now this is Mike out in the rain, obviously. But I put this one on just to show you a different method. Mike is very successful doing the drop shot. He likes to do this sideways retrieve, which is a lot more comfortable for him. If you notice, I tend to do a straight up and down retrieve. And Mike sometimes will as you can see, he's jigging all the way through. He's got a very slow retrieve, but he's moving that bait the entire time. And a lot of guys do that and have success with it. I'm just showing you that basically to give you the option that you can do it any way you want, whatever makes you comfortable, whatever your favorite rhythm is, or what's easiest for your wrist and your shoulder to do at that time. The movement is what gets the fish. You don't have to do 5 pops and then stop for 1.5 seconds. You don't have to do it like that. You can do 3, you can do 4, you can pop or move it the entire time. It doesn't matter. It's whatever makes you comfortable and whatever's easiest and whatever is going to get you bites. If you're doing it one way and you're not getting anything, and the guy next to you is doing it a different way and he's getting fish, do it the way he's doing it, because they want it either fast or slow that day. They either want pauses or they don't want pauses that day. It's just that simple. So be creative. Find out what works for you and execute it, and you'll get the fish. Guarantee it. All right, ladies and gents. Well, there you have it. That's that brief time is about all my knowledge on double drop shots that I've learned the past couple weeks. I know it's not a lot, and I'm in my infancy, but that is what I am doing, and so far it seems to be working for me. One thing to mention is I didn't show you how to rig up, like say if you want to do mice tails, fatheads, or trout worms. Very simple. You can rig it any way you want. You can rig it straight on, like a bait fishing. You can wacky rig it. Doesn't matter. Any of those ways will work. It's just the movement, it's just getting it in that strike zone, and that's what the drop shot rig does. It keeps your bait in a certain strike zone or certain depth of water, and you add movement to it, and it holds it there, and trout see it and they'll hit it. So don't get too technical with it, I guess, with how you're hooking some of those other baits. The minnows, very specific, but your worms and things, wiggler type deals, I wouldn't worry about it so much. It's kind of try hooking them different on each hook and see which one hits, that kind of thing. So I will put links, like I have before, to the videos I used to learn a lot of these techniques, like Golden State Fishing and Trout Made have some excellent videos, so I will put links in the description to those so you can look at those for your reference. And if you have any questions, something I didn't cover, because far be it from me, but I always forget stuff. So just ask me questions. I always do my best to answer them best I can, or at least try and look up the answer so I can get an answer to you. But always remember to like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram, and we will, I guess, see you on the next one. And I don't know where it is, where we're going to be going, or where I'm going to be going with the weather and all that kind of stuff. Still waiting to see how it plays out the rest of the week, but definitely going to go somewhere. So if I get something, we'll get a video for you. I went out to Glen Helen over the weekend, fished in the rain, and got one little dink, and I lost a decent one, but just wasn't enough there to make a video out of it. So I always want to have some good content if I'm going to actually make a video. So I am going out. Just sometimes, it's not as successful. When you see videos, those are the good days. So it seems like I'm catching fish all the time, but there are many times I'm going out and getting skunked, just like anybody else. So till next time, hope to see you guys soon, and tie lines.